Hi, and welcome to today's A Day in the Life video. Today we're joined by our CRM expert, Jack Williams.
My name is Jack. I work here at Axon Garside as the CRM specialist, and my role is to help businesses adopt CRM, sales processes, customer service processes, build that into their day-to-day activities to help them service and communicate with their customers in a much more effective way.
Great. So, as the kind of CRM expert at Axon Garside, what does a typical day look like for you?
Sure, yeah. So a typical day for me really is I go on a lot of client calls because I think the key thing with understanding a CRM requirement and working with businesses to help them adopt new processes and use CRM more effectively is understanding what their pains, problems and objectives are as a business, from a business development perspective, from a customer retention perspective, and from providing customers with effective customer service and support, etc. So my days, a lot of it is spent on the phone, talking with people, understanding those issues, those objectives and so on, and then coming up with plans and strategies to help them facilitate and achieve those goals, essentially. A lot of my job as well is spent digging around inside HubSpot to either set up new tools, set up new processes, build out new automation workflows and so on, as well as looking at data and reporting to understand how the way in which the CRM is set up could be improved to better the overall result.
And is that, that is a tech-heavy job. Do you just work inside HubSpot predominantly, or do you involve yourself with integrations with other platforms, or what sort of technology do you interact with on a day-to-day basis?
A mixture really. So most of my time is spent in HubSpot. Most of the businesses that we work with use HubSpot now as their business software, so everything runs from it, from, like I was saying before, managing customer relationships, delivering customer service, their marketing, their sales and business development efforts. A lot of companies that we work with as well do have invoicing software, business processing software, things like SAP, SAP Business One, Dynamics ERP, those sorts of things as well. So in some instances there is a requirement to integrate with other pieces of software to ensure that processes are coherent and integrated across the business, but I'd say 90% of my time is spent using HubSpot.
Sure. And I guess in some ideal world, is there a piece of technology that you could have that would make your job easier?
I think the software that I'd benefit from most is software that I'd ultimately give to our customers. I think that AI, artificial intelligence, is going to be a huge thing in CRM, sales software, marketing, customer service software moving forward. And I think that if our customers had access maybe to a tool that automatically presented them with customers that are the most likely to churn, for example, based on various data points that we could look at and pull together to say, well, this is a customer that's likely to be unhappy even though they haven't told us they're unhappy, that would be excellent. And I think also on the sales side of things is half the battle for a salesperson is finding good quality leads and working the best quality leads that are inside their system. Yeah. And I think having not a lead scoring tool, but a tool that allows us to identify prospects that maybe we aren't aware of yet that would be a good fit for us. Again, sort of a AI-based tool. Yeah. I think they would be great. And this is the point where whoever's watching this is probably a salesperson that has that exact software, and they come banging on my door right about now. But yeah,
great. Yeah, please come to Jack with any
please do
inquiries. So AI is going to play a big part in the future of CRM. Are there any other trends that you can see coming up this year?
I think AI, like you said, is probably going to be the biggest one. Having conversations with some current customers and potential new customers right now about how AI can be used to manage digitally certain parts of the customer acquisition process, and specifically, I think it's going to be a massive thing. It's taking the onerous off staff within the organisation, especially now with people working from home. Yeah. It's quite taxing, isn't it, I suppose, to bring teams together and deliver consistent high quality without some intervention from technology. So I think that's going to be a really big thing. I think secondly as well, reporting and ease of reporting. A lot of the customers that I work with, and not even customers but potential new customers I work with, their biggest challenges are typically around getting the right data out of tools. And I've used things like Dynamics and Salesforce, for example, and I've found that generating reports and custom reports through those tools is much more difficult than a lot of businesses would hope. HubSpot is really, really good at taking care of some of that and building custom reports in an easy and simple way, but there are still certain limitations, so I'd like to think that this year we'll see from HubSpot in particular, and probably other vendors as well, some improvements across their ability to report and present the right data to the right teams, basically.
Yeah, that'd be good. So to enable clients on CRM, does that involve a lot of interaction with the other departments at Axon Garside, or do you do that alone?
A mixture, I guess. The main brunt of my role is, like I said at the start, is speaking to the customer weekly, probably. Sometimes bi-weekly, depending on the relationship, but speaking to the customers to understand what's going on with their business, scoping out new processes for them, ways in which we can better use CRM to achieve those goals. When it comes to actually working with people inside Axon Garside, typically I might rely on Will, let's say. So Will has been helping me and our consultant Rob in delivering a project for the British Red Cross in using CRM and automation and different bits and bobs, and Will has been instrumental in that, in helping to get that all set up. So Will, for example, will go into the tool and actually do the execution in building bots, for example, or workflows and automation strings and so on. But that would be stuff that would either be previously scoped by myself, or in the instance of marketing related ones, potentially one of our consultants. So there is some collaboration with other departments within the business, definitely. But that sort of, I guess, pre-sales and analyst bit is what I take care of alone in most instances, and then work with Will and others to deliver that.
Would you say that it's advantageous then to opt for an inbound marketing agency to cover your CRM support rather than, say, an in-house team or like an agile freelancer?
I definitely think so. And anyone watching will be saying, well, of course you'd say that because you're an agency and you work there and you want to sell more stuff, which is, true. But I think so. And the reason why is because I found that working with businesses on CRM projects is because you're working across many different departments. So like I said before, marketing, sales, customer service, ops, management, whatever it might be, you very quickly start learning about the pains and challenges in those individual areas of the company. So for example, through the CRM and implementing good reporting, you might identify that leads being generated through the website are converting at a much lower rate than any other type of lead. Therefore, there's probably a marketing problem, and in-house we've got marketing strategists, copywriters, content creators, CRO experts and so on that can help solve that issue. On the website and functionality side, we might identify that there's a flaw in the website in the way that the user journeys are working. Well, we've got a web team that can help with that. It could well be that, well, I can see from the CRM that at this certain part of the sales process, lots of leads are dropping out. Therefore, it probably highlights there's an issue with the sales team themselves, and maybe they need some extra training, and we can deliver inbound sales training as well. So it's not just that we deliver CRM projects, because fundamentally you could go to a freelancer without a problem, they could deliver the whole thing for you. However, it's very unlikely that a freelancer would have the ability to look after all those different, all those other areas of the business as well.
Yeah, so we've got like holistic problem solving available then. What's the highlight of your day then? Typical CRM expert's day.
The highlight of my day, and this is going to sound really, really geeky, but I absolutely love workflows and automation. And when a customer comes to you and says, I've got this really time-intensive process at the moment, and I have to have somebody place a call at this time, then an email needs to send, then they create a task, and they send a document over to this person. And you just turn around to them and say, well, I can automate all of that for you. And they're like, what, really? And they're absolutely gobsmacked by it, and like, how can I save that much time? That to me is probably the most rewarding bit of the job. Is you can see it on someone's face, not so much anymore because everything's done through the phone, but you can see it on somebody's face that they're excited that you've just solved probably their biggest challenge in their business. I think that's
great. And what about the opposite then? What's like a real pain point in your day?
Pain point. I think sometimes, I don't want people to say this the wrong way, but I think sometimes when working with some businesses, is that they can be very, very set in their ways, and that's sort of to be expected, especially if you're working with an organisation that has done something the same way for a very long time. And it can sometimes be frustrating if people don't want to change. And in the line of work that we do and I do is when trying to help somebody implement a CRM, maybe they haven't had a CRM before, or maybe they haven't, automated processes before, or had a set way of doing things. There can sometimes be certain people in the business that are very reluctant to, record the fact that they're speaking to people, or upload their documentation to the CRM, all that sort of stuff, and that can sometimes be quite frustrating. On the flip side of that, I think the really rewarding part of the job is when you get those kinds of people and you convert them into a new way of thinking. That's it's good.
That's good. Lastly, do you have any top tips for people implementing HubSpot CRM?
Yeah, 100%. I think the key thing that I found with implementing CRM and adopting CRM is that, if people don't adopt it, it won't work.
Yeah.
You really need to get the buy-in of the whole business. And once you've got that buy-in and people realise a change is going to be made, it's really, really important that the management and the ops people don't dictate how the CRM is going to be set up. There is an element of that to enable them to get reporting out of it and so on that they see, as being fit for them to, report to the board or meet objectives and so on. But it's really, really important that the people that have their feet on the ground, the salespeople, the customer service reps and so on, have input into how that system is set up. Because if they don't adopt it, the people at the top aren't going to get that data back.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing I could say.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, Jack. It's great to get a bit of insight into the role of a CRM expert.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks again there to Jack for taking some time out and telling us about what his job involves. If you'd like to hear about more of what happens at an inbound marketing agency, just click the link after this video.